Welcome back to Empower Your Teen. Today we are joined by Dale Troy, who is a college success coach and a certified health coach. Now, with Dale's college success formula, she helps young people find success in college from the start of freshman year with habits and skills they need for academic and social success, as well as physical and emotional health. So we're so glad she's here with us today. Welcome, Dale.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, would you mind telling us really quickly how you became a college success coach?
Yes, I would be happy to. It was not a direct route. There's no program to become a college success coach, but it really took everything that I had done in the past and kind of led me there. I started as a lawyer, then I became a headhunter for lawyers. So I was coaching lawyers to get new jobs. And I love the coaching aspect. I love helping people improve their lives. And from there, I became a health coach because I wanted to learn more about how self-care affects everything, your whole life, really. And I wanted to be able to teach my kids a lot about that. So as they were going to college, I have 3 daughters. As they were going to college, I observed a lot of stress on the college campuses. And I felt that there was, something missing, that kids didn't really know how to function well on college campus. And the real light bulb moment, so to speak, was when friends of mine would ask me if I could help with their kids who weren't thriving. And I said, I can try. So given my just overall academic knowledge and my health coach background, I started helping kids on the phone with various problems that they were having in college, whether it was related to not getting enough sleep or being disorganized or, feeling lonely, all sorts of problems. And I thought to myself, well, if these kids are having problems, I'm sure a lot more are. And why is there no help on college campus for this? It's not a serious problem where they needed to see a therapist or get some, quick access to somebody. It was more of an ongoing daily issue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I decided to try to fill that gap, and I created the college success formula.
That's so great. I feel like a lot of focus for young people before they get into college is the college admissions process and making sure that you're like college ready, which is in my experience, mainly about like study skills and doing well academically. But it's such a huge shift in just educational environment. I mean, just the way education is done, the way learning happens at college is just so different from high school. Plus, it's that transition into adulthood and all of the stresses and expectations that come along with it. And I feel like so many young people are just kind of thrown into the deep end. So I'm so glad that you're there to help them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean, why are so many kids overwhelmed and becoming stressed and anxious? There must be something wrong with the environment or their preparation, the lack of preparation that they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
The living, yeah.
So let's talk about that. I want to learn about skills that would be really beneficial for young people to have to get through college and how parents can start helping with their kids. So what are some of the top skills that they need in college?
Yeah, there are a lot, but let me give you what I think are the top ones.
Okay.
The first is just giving your child more responsibility, more independence at a younger age.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of the problem is that they've been so, coddled might not be the right word, but, the helicopter parent syndrome. We're very involved with our kids. We really are paying like too close attention to what's going on with them. So, starting much younger in middle school and then through high school, letting them be more independent. Simple examples are not waking them up anymore, making sure that they're waking themselves up with an alarm, not cleaning their room. If it's messy, they're gonna eventually want to clean it up themselves. Not bringing something to school if maybe they forgot their sneakers so they can't play in a game. Well, don't bring the sneakers, because then next time they'll realize that it's up to them. This is their life. They have to be responsible. They can't rely on you. So anything that you can do to make them feel that it's their life, their responsibility is a good thing. And, a lot of parents talk about when they're sending their kids to college, they say, oh yeah, I need to teach them how to do laundry. Okay, that's a good thing, but laundry is fine. Yes, teach them how to do laundry, but that's not the most important thing. It's kind of like these overall feeling of they are their own person, and the parent isn't helping them every little step of the way.
So when you said middle school and high school,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So middle school is a good time to start like letting them wake themselves up and things like that.
I think so. I think that it's totally appropriate. I mean, you have to pick age appropriate things,
Okay.
but for sure. I mean, and even maybe things related to setting the table, emptying the dishwasher. There are chores in the house that you can give your kids so that they feel that they're not just living in a hotel, that this is part of life, and they have to be responsible for themselves.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Okay. So giving them more responsibilities and kind of managing their own like schedule, managing their own time. Is that right?
Yeah, that would be a whole nother topic, the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So responsibility, it just kind of is a more general thing, but the time management is critical when you go to college. So, I mean, I teach kids to use a physical planner. If you can get your child to start doing that early, they're going to be really ahead of the game when they get to college. So they, need to really think about what they're doing rather than just kind of going along with what everybody else is doing. Like, unfortunately, in high school, everybody is going to the same classes, and there's not a lot of choice. There are not a lot of options. But when you go to college, everything is open-ended. You have to create your own schedule. So if you can get them in the habit of thinking about, well, how am I going to spend my time when I get home from school? How much time do I need to study? How much time do I need to, have a break and just relax? What am I going to do during that relaxation time? So if you can just make them aware of the time is theirs, and they need to craft what it's going to look like.
Okay, cool. So helping them with their schedule and figuring out how to use time that they're not in class, right?
Yes.
Cool. What are some of the other things that they need to practice before they get to college?
Well, another big thing is self-advocacy, because they really need to be able to speak up for themselves. As a parent, you cannot call a professor. You cannot write an email to a professor. They are on their own. So it would be appropriate to start giving them that opportunity to speak for themselves more. So even if they're in high school or middle school and they're having a problem, the parent shouldn't be the one to intervene. Have the child stay after class and say, I'm having a problem with this, or can you help me with this? Or write an email to the teacher. So, I think parents are just, more likely to just think, oh, I'll take care of it. And that's not going to help your child.
Sometimes it's easier to just do it than it is to walk your kid through, this is how you do it. But that's so important, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they can also do other little things that will just make them realize that they can do it, because if the parent's doing it, then the child thinks, well, I guess I'm not able to do it. That I'm not old enough, I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing. But they can do things like make a dentist appointment, things like that. And even I've noticed in restaurants, I kind of observed this, that a lot of times parents will order for all the kids when you're at a restaurant, but there's no reason for that. Let your child speak up for themselves and order their food. So they have to get used to talking to adults and just using their own voice.
I think that's a great idea. I remember one time my brother needed to make a call to the pharmacist or something. And my dad was like, well, you call them. And he was like, oh, okay. It hadn't even occurred to him. And then he was holding the phone. He just kind of stood there and stared at it. He was like, what do I say? And so there was this moment of, well, let's talk about what you would say. And then he was able to have that conversation. And so it was one of those things where at first he didn't even realize that he could. And then when he thought about it, he's like, well, I don't even know like what to say when I get the person on the call. And it's totally fine to like practice that before the call, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. All of this is practice.
Yeah.
And if they haven't practiced any of these things and they get to college and they're expected to be able to do it, that's a problem. Because then they often they just get scared. They don't think they can do it. Yeah.
It's so amazing. I have seen in so many different areas of my life how helpful role playing can be. And I know it's in the moment, it feels a little silly kind of to role play, but it can be so helpful with interviews, with making phone calls, anything like that. Just role play a little bit beforehand. It's totally fine. And it can help out so much.
Absolutely. No, I love role playing. In fact, in my program, when I'm working one-on-one, I often do that because they haven't had a chance to practice. Yeah. You can't expect to know something if you've never done it before.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. All right, cool. Any other skills that we need to think about before kids get off to college?
Well, we've talked about stress a little bit, the fact that there's so much stress on a college campus. So I think another really important skill, particularly now, is for your child to figure out, with your help, what are those activities or practices that will help them feel less stressed? What can they be doing on a regular basis? And that could be learning how to do deep breathing, listening to some kind of music that makes them feel calmer, having a walk outside. I mean, there are many, many options, but I think a lot of kids, when they get to college, they end up going in the partying direction because they don't know how to deal with stress, and they just want to kind of get rid of it quickly. And maybe they think that's what you do, but clearly that's not the healthy option.
Right.
So, yeah. So if they know ahead of time that, oh, all I need to do is sit down and write in my journal and my feelings, and I'm going to feel less stress and I'll be able to continue, then they're already set up for dealing with stress.
That is so important. Stress management is so important for all stages of our life. And I feel like all of us need to learn how to do that. Sometimes as parents are like, how do I help my child with that? Because I don't even know how to do it for myself. I know I'm trying to model for my kids, but that can be so hard. So yeah, man, teaching them some stress management tools is just going to set them up for success in all areas of their life, not just college, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how old your kids are, but I recommend teaching them how to do deep breathing. That is the easiest, quickest, most accessible thing for them to do anywhere, anytime. And the students that I work with love that.
Is there a particular, is it just taking slow, deep breaths, or is there a particular way that you recommend doing it?
There are hundreds of versions of it, but I've ended up focusing on what I call the 5 + 2 = 7 system, because it's just like, it's a formula that they can remember. Everybody knows 5 + 2 = 7, right? No matter how old they are. So the 5 is slow breathing in through your nose. The 2 is holding your breath for 2. This is like counting. And then the 7 is blowing out through your mouth to the count of 7. And if you do that like 3 to 5 times and be sitting in a very calm way, and I actually prefer to close my eyes if I'm feeling really stressed. You don't have to do that, but it just kind of brings you back into your body, and it naturally, in a physical way, will calm you down. So you try that.
I like that technique because I feel like sometimes just, when you're in a heightened state and someone goes, just breathe, and you're like, okay, I'm breathing, But if you have something to focus on, like counting, like thinking about numbers or something thinking about other than what is making you emotional or whatever you're feeling in that moment. I think
Right.
for me, anyway, that really helps me out. So I like that idea of counting.
Good. Okay. Let me know if it works.
I
Give it a try.
will. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Great. Well, how do you work with, parents? Do you work with teens? How do you work with families?
Well, I have a Facebook group for parents, but I primarily work with the teens, and the ideal time to work with me is after they've graduated from high school and they're preparing to go to college, because I really like to set them up for success.
Nice.
I do end up working with kids who are already in college, but then they're already having challenges and kind of have to undo things.
Yeah.
It's harder. I mean, it
Yeah.
can be done for sure. They can learn things that they hadn't learned ahead of time. But if anyone's listening and their child has not started college yet, that would be the perfect time. Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. And you brought a free gift for our families today. Is that right?
I did.
Tell us about it.
Well, because I believe in being prepared, I'm always all about being proactive. It's a guide to the 6 skills, and I call them the 6 secrets to success in college. And it's some of the things that we talked about and some other things, but these skills and habits that you can be working on. So it goes right along with our conversation, skills and habits that you can be working on now that are going to help your child.
Perfect. And they are able to print that out. Is that right?
Yes, the PDF.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That'd be nice to have on hand. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. And thank you so much for that free gift. Just as a reminder, everyone, the button for that free gift is below this video, and you'll also see links to Dale's website so that you can contact her if you'd like to do that. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
You're very welcome. Thank you.